Consul General of India, Asim Mahajan, and Mayor Sylvester Turner, our distinguished guests, friends, and family, on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Eternal Gandhi Museum of Houston, a special welcome to each and every one of you to this auspicious, groundbreaking ceremony. Many thanks to Dr. Surya Nanda from the Arya Samaj Greater Houston for performing the Havan this morning. It marks a momentous occasion. And also to the participating Yajmans, Dr. Barkat Charania, Kamal Shah, Mrudula Ben Sutaria, Sangeeta Sutaria, and Dr. Kanti Bhai and Meena Wani. You know, they say time flies when you're having fun. The concept of bringing Eternal Gandhi Museum from Delhi to Houston started more than 6 years ago. In this time, we've had 3 presidents, recovered from a harsh hurricane, endured a worldwide pandemic, and even Boeing has managed to fly the 737 again. But it's been said that vision without action is a dream. Action without vision is busy work. But vision with action can change the world. In our world, conflict is and will be omnipresent. Unfortunately, this conflict generally is handled with violence, and the result inevitably is an eye for an eye. And this will eventually make the whole world blind. We must avoid this catastrophe at all costs, and we must cultivate the universal values of peace, truth, nonviolence, love, and service. This cultivation has to begin with our community through education and dialogue. Mahatma Gandhi was born in 1869. He was an Indian activist and led India's independence from the British colonial rule through nonviolent civil disobedience. His life began as an ordinary individual with no particular talents, but gradually he became one of the most significant figures of modern time. He was Time magazine's runner-up for Person of the 20th Century, second only to Albert Einstein. Gandhi changed the lives of millions of people, not only in India, but all over the world. Our great, diverse city of Houston is home to so many wonderful museums. Some focus on art, some focus on time and history and lessons to be learned. Today, we are all here to witness the groundbreaking for a museum that will specifically focus on peace, truth, and nonviolence, and will be based on the life and teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. We are truly honored you all have joined us to celebrate this momentous occasion, and we will start the program with the multi-faith invocation. Please follow along on page 8 of the souvenir booklet as the program commences. And I'd like to introduce the leaders for the invocation this morning. Please come up to the podium as I call your name. First, Mr. Suresh Shah as Mahatma Gandhi. Dr. Alejandro Chow, Director of the Mind, Body, Spirit Institute and the Jung Center of Houston. Rabbi Richard Freeman, Reverend Mindy Lawrence Curtis, Associate Minister, Pastoral Care at Unity Houston, Mrs. Iram Mancia, Educator, Coach, and Mentor at the Regional Academic Lead for Religious Education Center, Acharya Dr. Surya Nanda from the Arya Samaj Greater Houston, and Dr. Hansa Raval. She's a retired colonel from the United States Army and the director of the Brahma Kumaris in Texas. And a little known fact, Dr. Raval put a garland around Gandhiji's neck when she was a little girl in Africa. So I'm going to have Gandhiji himself lead us with the invocation.
Good morning, y'all. We pray to the God of truth to give us the boon of ahimsa in mind, word, and deed. Thank you.
Following Gandhiji's footsteps, His Holiness the Dalai Lama talks about methods of generating a compassionate peace of mind and how essential they are today. He says that, I believe that to meet the challenges of our time, human beings will have to develop a greater sense of universal responsibility We must all learn to work not just for our own self, family, or nation, but for the benefit of all humankind. As this Gandhiji Museum focuses on education, inspiration, action, and transformation, let me offer a prayer like prayer flags in the wind. As the wind carries our prayers for earth and all life, may respect and love light our way. May our hearts be filled with compassion for others and ourselves. May peace increase on earth, and may it begin with each of us here today.
Abinu Malkeinu, our Father, our King, may your name be honored, Lord. We're asking for the Spirit of truth, the God of truth, to be revealed today and manifest in this city and bring the shalom that only you can bring. And I thank you for it, B'Shem Yeshua. Amen.
So let us pray. God of many names, creator of all good, we are grateful for your vision and the action around this sacred site. Today, in alignment with your further blessings, we consecrate this land that will be foundation of the eternal Gandhi Museum. On this sacred site, we affirm that the consciousness of Gandhiji and his spiritual principles of truth, peace, and nonviolence will empower generations and generations of youth and adults alike. The energy of peace, of love, radiates out to create a world that works for all. We are grateful, and so it is.
Founding members and trustees of the Eternal Gandhi Museum Houston, Honorable Mayor Turner, Honorable Harris County Commissioner Rodney Ellis, faith community representatives, dear friends and guests, good morning. It is an honor and a blessing to be here with you on this historic day to break ground on the Eternal Gandhi Museum Houston. My name is Ira Mancia, and I am a member of the Shia Ismaili Muslim community, a global community that is guided by His Highness the Aga Khan and the principles of compassion, respect for life, and celebration of diversity and pluralism. While the Ismaili community has been part of the Indian subcontinent for centuries, the current and previous imams of the Ismaili community have had close relationships in India, including with Mahatma Gandhi. Sir Sultan Muhammad Shah and Mahatma Gandhi were both intimately involved with the freedom movement as leaders. In honor of the principles that Mahatma Gandhi epitomized and his history with the famous Aga Khan Palace, His Highness the Aga Khan donated the Aga Khan Palace, Pune, to the government of India as a symbol of friendship and respect to the late Mahatma Gandhi. There is a verse from the Holy Quran that reminds us of the unity of mankind that I would like to share with you. It is addressed to the entirety of the human race and speaks with much similarity to the profound teachings of Gandhi. It reads, "And among God's wonders is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the diversity of your languages and your colors. Indeed, in that there are messages for those who are knowledgeable." Chapter 30, verse 22. May we all say a prayer together. Dear God, grant us strength, wisdom, and courage with which to fulfill our duty to you and to our fellow human beings on this earth. Give us the wisdom to remain steadfast in our universal values of pluralism and compassion, and committedly pursue a greater quality of life for all. Give us the fortitude to live up to Mahatma Gandhi's legacy and to hear the message of the Eternal Gandhi Museum, that through nonviolent conflict resolutions, we can be catalysts for change in our own lives and communities. Lastly, give us the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement, and inspire and empower us to honor you and to live up to our best potential as God's noblest creation.
ॐ सध्रिचिनान्मस्सं मनसस्कृणोमि एकश्नुष्टिन् सवनेन सर्वान् देव इव अमृतं रक्ष्यमाणाः सायं प्रातः सौमनसो व अस्तु. This mantra is from Atharva Veda, and it says, with this harmonization, I make all of you one-aimed, one-minded, and one-fooded, means sharing a common meal. Like the guiding immortality, enlightened ones, let us be friendly to each other all the time. Om samjanidhvam sampratyadhvam samvo manansi janatam deva bhagam yatha purve samjanana upasate. Also same from Atharva Veda and says, O human being, know each other, be united together, understand the thoughts of each other among yourself, just as the enlightened ones of olden times waited for their shares with complete understanding. Om samaniva akutihi samana hridaya nivaha samanamastu mano yatha vasasahasati. Also from Atharva Veda, it says, let your determinations be one and common. Let your hearts be in harmony with each other. Let your minds be one and united, so that all goes well with you and all. Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. Thank you very much.
Namaste and Om Shanti. Let us invoke the presence of Almighty, powerful, Supreme Father, who is incorporeal, to give us his blessings on the success of this Gandhiji Library project. Gandhiji became victorious on his one spiritual belief. He believed that we are not bodies. Bodies are imperishable. We are eternal spirits. When we think we are bodies, then violence and suffering based on gender, race, religion, and social caste system begins. One day, based on this one spiritual truth, there will be peace, happiness, harmony, and freedom for humanity. I want to have special best wishes for Atul Bhai. He is Gandhiji's hero of the United States. Om Shanti.
That was beautiful. So, Sesh Bala and Prem Cholia have put together a time capsule for this event. Of course, the purpose of this capsule is to bury a historic cachet of goods and information that depicts the current state of the world, with emphasis on the local situations and the Eternal Gandhi Museum Houston beginnings. The plan would be for someday, maybe 50 years in the future, to remove this capsule as a means of communication with the future. So please help us bury the time capsule in our grounds. Okay. All right, thanks, Seish Prem, and for the beautiful multi-faith invocation. We truly appreciate that. Okay, so now we are going to commence with the symbolic tree planting ceremony. The tree planting ceremony aims to raise the awareness in our society of the importance of planting and saving trees. It expresses our concern to the environment and diminishes the unfavorable effects of climate change. As David Attenborough, the famous BBC broadcaster, once said, "Without trees, we would all suffocate." So now it's my distinct honor to call up for the symbolic tree planting ceremony our distinguished dignitaries in attendance. Mayor Sylvester Turner, Consul General of India Asim Mahajan, Fort Bend County Judge K.P. George, Texas House of Representative Dr. Alma Allen, Harris County Precinct 1 Commissioner Rodney Ellis, Fort Bend County Precinct 4 Commissioner Ken R. DeMerchant, and Vice Mayor Pro Tem and City of Houston District K Councilwoman Martha Castix Tatum. Okay, that was beautiful. Now, next, please give a warm welcome to the Board of Trustees and the representatives from the Advisory Board of Eternal Gandhi Museum Houston. Seish Bala, Dr. Berkat Chirania, Charles Foster, Lufti Hassan, Atul Kotari, Devendra Mahajan, Ajit Paralkar, Namita Sutaria, and Manish Wani. This is the Board of Trustees and representatives from the Advisory Board of Eternal Gandhi Museum Houston. So, they say to whom much is given, much is required. We all know that nonprofit organizations can only stand as tall as the funds they receive. So we are truly indebted to our supporters. So let's give a warm welcome to the selfless group of donors who have pledged $50,000 or more for this project. So when I announce your name, please come up for the tree planting ceremony. Representing Aditya Birla Group from India, Nitin and Charulata Mathuria. Dinesh and Viba Agarwal. Anand and Sudha Bhagvatula. GV and Bhuvaneshwari Krishnan. Nurali and Nuri Hussain. Atul and Rita Kotari. Devinder and Sushma Mahajan. Narinder and Aruna Mahajan, Aman and Seema Oberoi, Amit and Shivani Patel, and Dr. Kanti and Meena Wani. And it would only be appropriate to recognize those donors who are not present today, but also have donated more than $50,000 for our project. The Houston Endowment, the Elkins Foundation, Ashok and Madhu Gupta, Sanjay and Renu Jain, Rajinder and Shashi Mahajan, Virendra and Shashi Mahajan, Vikram and Rebecca Oberoi, Bal K. Sareen, and Rajesh and Neera Shetty. So please give these all a warm welcome and a great round of applause. the tree planting ceremony went as smoothly as we planned. All right. Thank you guys for your patience and cooperation. I really appreciate that. I don't know. We may have had more photographers than actual participants, but that's okay. All right, so just so you know, let's take our seats. Can we please take our seats so we can get the program on the road? All right. So let's have a special welcome for Congressman Al Green, as he is our chief guest for the evening. So, just so you know, these trees will now go off-site to be taken care of at a nursery, and then they're going to be brought back to be planted alongside the museum once the construction is completed. And so, you know, it's funny because I saw these trees last week, and they were only about this tall, but with all the rain, they've gotten so much bigger. So I wanted to give a little update on the Gandhi Museum. We've been kind of talking about it off and on for the last 6 years. And as you know, it began as a vision of just a few to bring the Eternal Gandhi Museum from New Delhi to Houston. And the journey has required creative thinking and tireless efforts of so many. You've met our very credible board of trustees and renowned advisory board, and they've guided us along the way for this noteworthy project. Today, we are standing on the grounds of a future 12,300 square foot facility. And this has been planned by the prominent architectural firm from Houston, RDLR Architects. And it will be a cost-effective structure which will be elegant in its simplicity, like Gandhi himself. Thank you, Lori Westrick. I think she's with us. She's the lead architect. Where's Lori? Hey, Lori, please stand up and take a bow. We really appreciate your enthusiasm, creativity, and everlasting passion for this project. So at the end of the program, please be sure to view the renderings on the pedestals that are displayed on the back of the tent. We have also teamed up with a talented firm from Kentucky. They're known as Solid Light. Who knew that there were firms that actually specialized in doing interior decorating for museums? I didn't. But they've certainly designed the interior with innovative, up-to-the-state multimedia exhibits and truly are creating the heart and soul of this distinguished museum. We have just completed the 75% design with them, and so much look forward to the 100% design. We've been excited to offer the construction contract to TDK Construction. They specialize in commercial construction. Yes, a big hand for TDK. They've been in Houston since 1993 and have completed more than 400 projects in and around the Houston area. This week, despite the inclement weather, if you can imagine, this all looked like that over there just 1 week ago. And despite the inclement weather, they rolled up their sleeves and got the grounds ready so we can be here this morning. EGMH has been guided from day one by a Smithsonian-trained museum consultant, Brian Crockett, as well as an educational consultant, Honor Mormon. The museum, it's an initiative to preserve and continue the legacy of Mahatma Gandhi. It will be the first ever museum dedicated to Mahatma Gandhi in the Americas. The museum's message will be a transformative one. Through practice of nonviolent conflict resolution, visitors, especially youth, can be catalysts for change in their own lives and communities. It is a simple, unique idea. Let's build a cultural hub in our own backyard to further peace in our community. EGMH will impact the community in so many positive ways. Its primary focus, though, will be nonviolent conflict resolution. Our vision is to see that every school-age student visits EGMH at least once before graduating. And we can expose them to our true mission of reinforcing the universal values of peace, truth, nonviolence, love, and service. And with support from each and every one of you, we can establish a new civic asset for Greater Houston. The construction of the museums with you all starts today, and we look forward to the grand opening to take place in fall of 2022. So please consider this a personal invitation and a save the date. The project budget is $12.5 million. That does include a $3 million endowment fund. To date, we have raised $3.1 million, so we still have a ways to go, but we are confident as the cause is real, the effort is true, and the generosity of mankind will shine. Please feel free to use the barcode on the back of the souvenir to get more information about Internal Gandhi Museum Houston and how you can get involved and help us reach this goal. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce to you the chief guest for today's It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce to you the chief guest for today's event. He serves the people of Texas's 9th Congressional District and began his 9th term in the United States House of Representatives. EGMH is truly grateful as he has requested community project funding for the museum. Please help me welcome Congressman Al Green to the podium.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wani, for your very kind and warm introduction. I have been honored in many ways at many events, but this is my very first time, I think, being the chief guest. Now, I assume that carries with it a lot of significance as the chief guest. So, as your chief guest, I have a request. As your chief guest, let's do all that you can to make this museum a big success. This is from your chief guest. And my belief is that a chief guest must, at minimum, honor the mayor of the city. So I am so honored to know that the Honorable Sylvester Turner, the mayor of what some say is the 4th largest city in the country, but the chief guest believes that it is at least the 3rd largest. Let's honor Mayor Sylvester Turner, please. The Consul General is here today. You know, this is a spectacular event. Just the guest list alone is something worthy of publication. Just to say that all of you were here today at this time on this occasion is significant, and history ought to record just that fact. Give yourselves a hand, please. But I must mention the Consul General Mahajan. I am so honored to be in your company again. I thank you for all that you do to span the chasm between our countries. Great countries ought to have a great relationship. And as the chief guest, I want you to know that I'm going to do everything that I can to foster the best relationship possible between the United States of America and the great country of India. There is a person here who was born in India. It's amazing how we can have our story originate in one place and then blossom in another. Truly, you are an indication, Judge George, of what can be done regardless as to where you're born. This is a great country. 2 great countries have produced a Judge K.P. George. Would you kindly give him an expression, please? A product of 2 great countries. I know that we have a commissioner here who has changed the direction of the county. It's amazing what one person can do. He has been a city council person. He has been a state senator. He was a young person who benefited from another congressperson, Mickey Leland. As your chief guest, I'm honored to salute and give appreciation to Commissioner Rodney Ellis, the Honorable Rodney Ellis. There is another honorable who serves on a commissioner's court in Fort Bend County. For those who are not aware, the world is changing around us. The winds of change are blowing across this country, and they are irreversible. I am proud to say that a part of the winds of change, we have the Honorable Ken DeMerchant, Commissioner from Fort Bend County. Give him a big hand, please, the Commissioner. There's an annoyance that I hope you won't have to cope with, that I'm coping with. As the chief guest, I order this annoyance to cease and desist. Friends, we are now blessed to have me recognize and honor a city councilwoman who stepped into the shoes of another, but she didn't just step in, she brought her own shoes with her. She said they're heels. But some people step into the shoes of others. Others create their own, and they build a path themselves. She has been a trailblazer on council, and I'm honored to know that she's a part of the 9th Congressional District. Would you please join me in honoring the Honorable Councilwoman Castix Tatum. Of course, I want to recognize all of the trustees, and having recognized all of the persons that I've just recognized, I say to you, friends, I can find none on the program more important than the people who have $50,000 next to their names. $50,000, in my opinion, gets you more than just an applause. It gets you a standing ovation. $50,000. That's pretty significant in my world. See, I won't call all of the names, but they're all equally as important. Now, friends, let me make a very brief statement because much can be said about Gandhi, but I find these words to be important. Everybody knows that Gandhi was the architect of be the change that you seek. I believe in this. I think it's important that we should all seek to change the world. In our own way, we can change the world. Each one of us, as a force of one, can change the world. But these are not the words that I would call to your attention. These are words according to the Stanford University King Institute. These are the words that I would have you remember. Gandhi's nonviolent approach, and it was the only morally and practically sound method open to oppressed people in their struggle for freedom is nonviolence. It is the only morally and practically sound method open to oppressed people in their struggle for freedom. The struggle for freedom never ends. If the struggle for freedom ended with one protest and one change in the law, we would not be fighting for the right to vote free of the kinds of encumbrances that we currently see being perpetuated and perpetrated in this country. The fight for freedom doesn't end with one protest. It is a struggle, according to Gandhi. And we all have to assume that by birth, we are born into the struggle for freedom, not just for ourselves, but for every living being on the planet Earth. The struggle for freedom is one that involves your participation so that I might be free. My freedom relies on you. Your freedom resides in me. If I am to be free, you must be free. And if you are to be free, I am to be free. Our freedom resides in each other. And finally this, I see Gandhi as a person who lived up to the words of a poet whose name is not known to me. There's some dispute as to who said this. But these are the words that I think Gandhi has given us in his life, with his life's work. And they are, some measure their lives by days and years, others by heartthrobs, passions, and tears. But the surest measure under God's sun is what for others in your lifetime have you done. I want to thank all of you for what you've done for others in your lifetime. And I want to assure you that I have made the request for this museum, that I'm going to do all that I can to get that request fulfilled. Everything that I can do, I promise I'm going to do. I'm going to do it. And I hope that you will join me in this quest. If you know someone in Congress that you can contact, do so, please. It will be the first time in history that Congress has funded a museum of this kind. I think we should make history together. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much, Congressman. Please accept this as a token of our appreciation. Okay, let's please now give a warm welcome to a dear friend, enthusiastic supporter of the museum project since the first day he took office in Houston in January 2020, our Consul General of India, Shri Asim Mahajan.
Congressman Al Green, thank you very much for those truly inspirational words which came from your heart, and I think all of us have felt that, and I really, truly thank you for that. Mayor Sylvester Turner, you are a close friend. You have supported us on many initiatives. Thank you again for joining us today. County Judge K.P. George, Dr. Alma Allen, Texas House of Representatives, Mr. Rodney Ellis, Commissioner, Harris County, Ken DeMerchant, Commissioner, Fort Bend County, Ms. Martha Tatum, the Mayor Pro Tem City of Houston, and the City Council. It is a very auspicious day today for all of us, as you have seen, as we join at this groundbreaking ceremony of the Eternal Gandhi Museum in Houston. This museum is being built with an aim to spread the message and teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. Congressman Al Green has already explained to you what Gandhi means to all of us, and Mahatma Gandhi needs no introduction. As two vibrant democracies having open and multicultural societies, commonalities in culture and shared values, India and United States are natural partners, and that is manifest here as we join all of us today for this groundbreaking ceremony. Our Honorable Prime Minister on March 12th has launched the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, which I mentioned earlier. This is the celebration of India at 75, our 75 years of independence. They were launched in March and will continue till August 2023. These celebrations are a time for us to commemorate our freedom struggle, highlight what we have achieved, promote exchange of ideas and actions, and also reaffirm our resolve and commitment to the development of India and to address all the challenges. During these years of celebration, we are organizing various events with multiple organizations, universities, seminars, programs of art, music, dance, and this Eternal Gandhi Museum also happens to be when India will be completing 75 years of independence. Mahatma Gandhi, throughout his life, remained committed to his belief in non-violence, even under oppressive conditions and in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges. Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy, teachings, and thoughts are of great relevance in the world today. The power of peaceful means to seek justice, the effectiveness of non-violence in countering force, respect for diversity within and between societies, fighting social prejudices and promoting social reforms, conservation of nature and probity in public life are enduring ideas that can help us all to address many of the problems of the contemporary world. His inspiration guides us all and all of humanity. Dr. Martin Luther King also drew heavily on Gandhi's principles of non-violence in his own civil rights movement. And Dr. King said about Gandhi, and I quote, "He lived, thought, and acted inspired by the vision of humanity evolving towards a world of peace and harmony." We share a very strong connect with this part of United States, with a very vibrant Indo-American community, the many community, social, cultural, religious organizations, and initiatives like this museum where we are present here today. Our community has been very active in bringing in a lot of rich exchange of cultural ties to promote mutual understanding between both countries. We have also recently launched our new education policy, which offers us immense potential to deepen our partnership with the many educational and research institutions in this part of United States and all over United States for building institutional linkages, joint exchange programs, for partnering for research and innovation. This museum also has the aim to promote educational and cultural initiatives. They have a plan where they will connect with many local educational and cultural institutions and spread the message and teachings of Mahatma Gandhi, promote people-to-people contact between India and United States, and deepen our ties. I am aware of the hard work which has been put in by them. We are aware of, they have been truly working day in, day out, and it's a very dedicated team which inspires all of us, and I'm confident, as Congressman Al Green mentioned, that this will be a great success. I convey all my good wishes to them for the success of this noble initiative, and I'm confident that this will strengthen further the deep ties between the city of Houston and India, and also between United States and India and globally, because this is truly one of its kind initiative where they will connect locally with many schools, institutions, and also showcase the life and message of Mahatma Gandhi. So congratulations again to all of you on this occasion of the groundbreaking ceremony, and we hope with the blessings of everyone and with the good wishes of all of you, with the support, this museum will be a great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Consul General. Applause for our mayor. Okay, so KP George, he is the first person of color to serve as Fort Bend County Judge. He recently organized the inaugural Gandhi Day of Service this last May for Fort Bend County. He has been a staunch supporter of EGMH and has been the chief guest for Thousand Lights for Peace and Shraddhanjali in the past. Please welcome our friend KP George.
It's absolutely overwhelming standing in front of all of you, and it is absolutely a pleasure and privilege to be here, and especially with our chief guest, Congressman Al Green. And you got the name forever. You're the chief guest. Moving forward, Congressman Al, and you are rightfully our chief guest. There is no question about that. All these leaders, I tell you, getting involved with politics, I always say this, I met a lot of wonderful people in my life. Otherwise, maybe I don't have a lot of reason to meet. Maybe I watch them from far. A number of people are sitting here. Congressman Al Green, Mayor Turner just spoke, and obviously Honorable Mr. Mahajan, and our friend Rodney Ellis, Mayor Pro Tem, Tatum, and I serve with Kendi Merchant, our commissioner, numerous people. And I just briefly say this. As Congressman rightfully mentioned, what an amazing nation we are part of. I born on the other side of the world, and in a little village, and I was able to come here and accomplish what we all are about to accomplish, or in our life we accomplished. This is the only nation where these kind of things are possible. And I always say this when I talk to our young people. A British educated, one of well-to-do barrister they call a lawyer, and he came back and he put his coat on the side and just we call a half-naked fakir, means a person who give up everything to fight for the right of little people, poor people. And in that fight, he didn't pick up guns. He didn't pick up, physical fight, non-violence. And I remember watching a movie called Lageraha Munabai at the end. I'm sure you all remember at the end, his soul was speaking. And he said, you might be wondering what happened to me. And he said, 3 bullets are not going to kill me. And my thoughts, my teachings are going to continue. And in 2012, then President Barack Obama said, Mahatma Gandhi is my guiding light. I said, you know what? Indeed. And our thoughts and our teachings, our beliefs never die. And also Martin Luther King, our civil rights leader, traveled to India to visit the Eternal Museum in New Delhi, and learning from it all his life, he practiced his teaching. And Nelson Mandela, you name it, many people inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's teaching. And that's the reason why 1.3 billion people, Indians, call him the father of the nation. 1.3 billion people. And so my thing today, absolutely, I tell you, yesterday I was able to meet with some of the organizers, Mr. Khatari and others, and they asked me a question, can I endorse this project? I just wanted to say that with a lot of dignity, with a lot of pride, I endorse Eternal Gandhi Museum, and you let me know if you need something in writing to show that, and I endorse, and I will work with you on this. And also, along with Congressman, not at that level, but Fort Bend County I will look into the possibility of financially supporting this effort. And we will, because his teachings need to be taught. We all know that we are living in a very polarized political world, and it needs to be taught without touching a gun or without touching a knife or without physically fighting, shaking the British Empire at that time. And that is so powerful. And that is the reason why he left that teaching. Today also it is inspiring hundreds and thousands of people in this, not in India, all over the world. And I'm so proud to learn about Mahatma Gandhi in a very young age, and learning and understanding. And I will be part of this discussion. And so proud to see that is happening, the first Eternal Museum in Houston. Come on, people, that is an amazing thing to happen to all of us. And I could go to New York, I could go to LA, I could say that is right here. And you need to maybe visit Houston. We are the most diverse region, and Fort Bend County is the most diverse county in the country maybe. And with all that, and I just wanted to say it's an honor and privilege to the organizers. It's a lot of effort. Thank you for calling me. Thank you for inviting me. And I'm standing here with a lot of pride and thinking some people live in this world, everybody live in this world. Some people take a path where there is no path and leave a trail, so that we all can walk on that. And that is Mahatma Gandhi. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, KB George. Next. Okay. Please, let's now welcome a man who we all know, who really needs no introduction. He is Houston's 62nd mayor and serving his second 4-year term for the most diverse city in the United States. The mayor actually traveled to India in 2018, and he personally visited the Eternal Gandhi Museum in Delhi. Please welcome our friend, our mayor, Sylvester Mayor Turner.
Thank you so very, very much. And let me just start off by saying that it is an honor to be with you this morning. To the Consul General and to your lovely wife, it's good to be with you both again. To the chief, what do we call him? The chief guest? To the chief guest, and Congressman Al Green, a very good friend, not only to the 9th Congressional District, but to the city of Houston as a whole. Good morning and good to see you. To all of these distinguished guests, from the county judge to the county commissioners, to the vice mayor pro tem, and to all of you. Let me just say that I'm honored and delighted to be here on this very special occasion. Houston is one of the most diverse cities in the United States, and it welcomes the addition of the Eternal Gandhi Museum Houston to its rich cultural landscape. We pride ourselves constantly by talking about our diversity and our inclusiveness. But what's happening here today really amplifies that message. By telling the story of Gandhi and the leaders he inspired, the Eternal Gandhi Museum Houston activates a collection of educational initiatives that encourages children, youth, and adults to choose the path of peaceful conflict resolution. And if there was ever a time for that to take place, that time is right now. Someone once said that children are messages that we send into the future to a world we ourselves may never see. When they planted the message at the time cap into the soil, I said to myself, I wonder what sort of world will be 50 years from now. But what kind of world it will be 50 years from now depends on what we do between now and over the next 50 years. This Eternal Gandhi Museum is a step in the right direction. It's not just a museum, but it serves as a marker so people can remember how people in our past have resolved conflicts. Violence, nonviolence, is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. And so for leaders like myself and so many others, we need to uplift those who demonstrate that if we work together, positive changes can occur. I know the Vice Mayor Pro Tem Castix Tatum is proud that this Eternal Gandhi Museum will be right here in District K. So let me thank everyone. Let me apologize because I'm going to have to leave. I've got a funeral that I'm going to try to make, but I did not want to miss this moment. There was someone who said that, and there is no greater force than an idea whose time has come. Well, for Houston, this Eternal Gandhi Museum is an idea whose time has come. To all of those who have contributed, and to our chief guests that will bring in the money, I know in 2022, along with our help, okay, because no one can do it alone. But in this city, when we put our minds together, we can get it done. You either dream big and do big things, or you go home. In this city, we dream big and we make big things happen. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Hey, another round. All right, thank you so much, Rodney. All right, next we have Ken R.D. Merchant. He is the Commissioner for Fort Bend County, Precinct 4. So he recently announced Precinct 4 Trees. This DeMerchant Community Collaborative Project goal is to maximize access to trees and their environmental and aesthetic benefits. We're so happy to have you here, Ken.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm honored and delighted to be part of this momentous occasion, surrounded by so many esteemed dignitaries and friends. This celebration is more than a groundbreaking for a museum. It is a recognition of Mahatma Gandhi, the great spiritual, social, and political leader of India. Gandhi's life was marked by wholeness and wisdom. Gandhi was a bridge between humanity and spirituality. He believed in the essential unity of all peoples and religions, and so it is fitting that we stand here today on this ground to celebrate the future home of the first Mahatma Gandhi Eternal Museum. And this museum, first in America, in one of the most diverse cities, rich in religion, cultures, and languages in America. I leave you today with the famous words of Gandhi: live simply so that others may simply live. And I encourage each of you to embody the great Gandhi's eternal message of peace, love, and the universal relevance of the principle of nonviolence. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the hard work, vision, and coordination by many partners diligently working to see the fruition of the Eternal Gandhi Museum in Houston. Mr. Kothari, I greatly appreciate you inviting me to take part in this celebratory occasion. Thank you very much, and I look forward to being here in the future when this museum is built, and hopefully we can have a nice ribbon cutting indoors in the air conditioning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ken. Okay, now I'd like to introduce Martha Castix Tatum. She is the Vice Mayor Pro Tem and represents City of Houston's City Council District K. She is a graduate of Leadership Houston Class 36. The only thing I can say about that is that's the second only to Class 28 as the best class ever. That's an inside joke. So.
Every Leadership Houston class is the best class ever. Class 36, best class ever. Good morning. I am Vice Mayor Pro Tem Martha Castix Tatum, a special guest. Happy to be a special guest with the chief guest. Protocol has been established. I'm so excited to be here today. Welcome to District K. I do want to recognize our District 9 HISD trustee who has also joined us, Ms. Myrna Guidry. I do think it's important that HISD is represented today along with other independent school districts because this space that we are in today will be an opportunity for learning for not only the children of Houston, but for everyone who enters and exits this amazing museum that is forthcoming. So much has been said about Mahatma Gandhi, and we all know about the importance of his work. So I will conclude my comments today with Gandhi has been a beacon of hope for oppressed and marginalized people throughout the world. And it is my hope and my prayer that each person who enters and exits this museum will leave inspired to, of course, be the change that they want to see in this world. Thank you so much for having me today.
Hey, one more round of applause for the dignitaries that have been here. Thank you guys so much. So, as I mentioned before, the EGMH journey began just as a vision of a few to bring this museum from Delhi to Houston. The journey has required creative thinking and tireless efforts of so many, but as with any large ship, the steering must always be done by the captain. And I tell you, it's with great pride, I would say, who that true captain is of our ship. He has been one of my mentors and the guiding light of this organization for the past 20 years. He truly leaves no stone unturned, and his attention to detail is just impeccable. He is the founder and trustee of Eternal Gandhi Museum Houston. Please welcome Mr. Atul Kothari.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste. Let me begin by thanking the Almighty for this auspicious occasion and a joyous day. Without His grace, none of this would have been possible. So I will ask you all to close your eyes for a moment and thank the Almighty for all that He has done in your life and bless the museum. So join me, please. Thank you so much. As we all know, any new and bold initiative has to have individuals who are the primary force behind its successful launch. For EGMH, they are Devinder Mahajan, if you can please stand up, Devji, and numerous tireless volunteers of the organization he founded, the Arya Samaj Greater Houston. Big round of applause, please. And the other person, of course, your MC for today, Dr. Manish K. Vani. But for the support and encouragement, EGMH would not have launched and would not be where it is today. On behalf of the EGMH, we want to express our sincere gratitude to them. And Devji and Manish Bhai, will you please join me at the podium? Please give a big round of applause to Manish and Devji. And Kantibai and Minaben, you can be more than proud of the son you have raised. Thank you so much. In addition, I want to thank the Board of Trustees, Advisory Board members, Working Committee members, all donors, large and small, and the innumerable volunteers who have worked very hard since 2002 so that the EGMH may reach today's milestone. On behalf of everyone at EGMH, my sincere thanks go to our chief guest, Congressman Al Green, who has always been an ardent supporter of EGMH and has attended many thousand Lives for Peace celebrations over the years. The same goes for our guest of honor, Consul General of India, Sri Asim Mahajan, whose office has attended every Thousand Lives for Peace since its inception in 2006. Additionally, I'd like to thank our departed mayor, who just left us for his another appointment, who has been a staunch supporter of the project from the moment he learned about it. Just like the Mayor Turner, Fort Worth County Judge K.P. George has also been a great supporter since his historical election and when he learned about the museum. Many thanks go to Harris County Precinct 1 Commissioner Rodney Ellis, Texas 739 District Representative Dr. Alma Allen, City of Houston District K Councilwoman and Vice Mayor Pro Tem Martha Castix Tatum, and Fort Bend County Precinct 4 Commissioner Ken R.D. Merchant. Thank you all for giving us the critically needed letter of support that we needed to make the application to the Congressman. Thank you so much. Thanks are also in order for best wishes from Texas Senator Boris Miles and Harris County Judge Linda Hidalgo, who couldn't be here today because of prior commitments. Last but not least, my heartfelt thanks go to each and every one of you for having taken time from your busy schedules and graced us with your presence to commemorate and bless this momentous occasion. And lastly but not the least, I've heard a lot of people say, your museum. Let us make it our museum rather than your museum. And also, on behalf of entire board of the EGMH and all the volunteers, all the committee members, I ask you for your forgiveness if we have not lived up to your expectation in any way, shape, or form, or if we have violated the protocols we should not be. Please forgive us. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, KB George. Next, we have Dr. Alma Allen. She is from the Texas House of Representatives for the 131st District. Is she here? She's not here. Okay, well, we'll move on. We're going to move on to a dear friend, Rodney Ellis. He is the commissioner for Harris County Precinct 1. He was our Grand Marshal for the citywide Walk for Peace in 2019. Please welcome Rodney Ellis.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I'll also represent Dr. Allen. She was my third grade teacher. I'll tell you one thing, County Judge, I learned from the British, and I'll stop there. All protocols observed. All of us here, your special guests, all of us elected officials are here because we respect and honor you. So Congressman Al Green called all their names out. I won't do it again, but give our elected officials a round of applause. We are also here because one of your board members, Lufti Hassan, called me at 6 a.m. this morning. And I assume he called others to make sure that we would show up here. But look, it's a special day. Al Green planned great weather. It's only 84 degrees. But in this sea of so much humanity, he could not get rid of the humidity. That's why the gnats are here. But seriously, it's important. At this time in our history, when there's so much polarization, probably more polarization than we've had in a very long time, to have this museum here in Houston, Texas. You know, there's so much controversy about critical race theory and all of these various factors. It took me a long time to really understand and appreciate when people would make that comment, the sun never set on the British Empire. To think about all of the lives that were lost, all of the nations that were pilfered to do that. But Mr. Gandhi did such a remarkable job in such a quiet, calm way of getting people to find a way to come together. I had the privilege of touring his home in Durban, and the weather's about like it is here today, by the way, with Reverend Jesse Jackson. And what a special trip that was. And to go to Johannesburg and see the statue outside his law office. And then maybe about 6 years ago to travel through India. And I'm just so appreciative to the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce for arranging that trip for me to go. It was special. We love you. Look, anytime I'm looking for a quick quote, and I don't have one, I just Google Gandhi's famous quotes. And they're just so common sense and so impressive and touch us in so many ways. We need this museum in Houston. We need, as you said, Mr. Chairman, Doctor, every student in HISD, Fort Bend County, and every other independent school district or charter school, private school, whatever, to come through this museum and benefit from the teachings of Gandhi. Thank you very much. I'm going to the same funeral with the mayor, so I got to run.
Namaste. I come from Bombay and I'm very near to the Gandhiji's museum, which is at Gamdevi, and I'm almost a neighbor, so I know every bit of what Gandhiji is. And he was my idol from my childhood. I belong to an era when there were, you know, a lot of fights going on. There were Muslim leagues and there were all sorts of parties attending, but I never budged because he was my idol. And he will remain all over, and that his philosophy is embedded in my children also. I'm so glad to have come here today, and when on my next visit, I look forward to attending the museum itself. All the very best.
And we bring blessings in peace of behalf of the Dawoodi Bohra community, and most importantly, on behalf of our leader, Dr. Sayyidina Mufaddal Saifuddin. Thank you.
Please accept that as a... Well, we're coming to the end. You know, it certainly has been a true honor to be your MC this beautiful morning. As we looked at the forecast all week, it's supposed to be 90% chance of rain today. So we are so lucky. We look forward to a bright and safe future as we add another jewel to the golden crown for our city of Houston with this Eternal Gandhi Museum. We will conclude the program with Gandhiji's favorite bhajan, Vaishnava Janato. You can follow along and sing along as the lyrics and the translation are in your souvenir booklet on page 11.
Namaste, everyone. I feel very honored to be a part of this historical moment. Never thought I will be having this gracious moment in my life. So here is for Mahatma Gandhi, Vaishnava Jan. आप लोग join कर सकते हैं मेरे साथ में. वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे पर दुखे उपकार करे तो ये पर दुखे उपकार करे तो ये मन अभिमान नाने रे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे. If you don't understand Gujarati, in our pamphlet we have on the last, I think, page the Vaishnava Jan meaning, so you can follow that. Sakad lok ma saune bande, sakad lok ma saune bande, neenda na kare ke re वाच काच मन निश्चल राखे वाच काच मन निश्चल राखे धन धन जननी तेनी रे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे. समुद्रष्टि ने कृष्णा तारी समुद्रष्टि ने कृष्णा तारी पर स्त्री मात रे जीवा थकी असत्य न बोले जीवा असत्य न बोले पर धन नव झरे हाथ रे वैष्णव जन तो सकड़ तीरथ तेला मन मारे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे ओम वणलो कपट रहित छे काम क्रोध निवार्या रे वणलो कपट रहित छे काम क्रोध निवार्या रे भणे नरसयो तेनु दर्शन करता वड़े नरसयो तेनु दर्शन करता गुड़ एको तेरु तार्या रे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे पर दुखे उपकार करे तोए पर दुखे उपकार करे तोए मन अभिमान नाने वैष्णव जन तो वैष्णव जन तो तेरे
All right, thank you so much, Shrimati ji. Well, again, once again, thank you one and all for coming. Please enjoy the refreshments and snacks, and hope to see you guys next year, like I think the mayor said, under air conditioning and carpeting. So thank you guys so much for coming. Good night. Have a great day.